This is our very first orientation, and it's going to be so I have Vince and Kristen on with me because I want them to help watch it because we'll go into detail about what it is we're doing, but obviously Joseph and I have been working together. And I was like, we need somebody else's opinion at some point to like look over our shoulders and make sure that we are having the overall correct vision. I totally trust Joseph and myself to do this, but it's just good to have more eyes. So Vince and Kristen, I want y'all just to take notes of anything that you see that I might forget or that we should add. Okay. So everyone who's currently on the Zoom right now, like I said, you should have something to take notes. Now, I'm just going to go over this. I want everybody's screen on mute right now, but how this orientation is going to go, as far as I'm concerned, every Monday is if you've come to, you're at this one, right? If you decide after this one, this is the only one you need to attend, that's fine. It's an orientation of just once. The orientation then kind of sets the stage for you to make the right decisions for your following weeks and months. However, coming to more than one is totally fine because it's not going to be perfectly scripted, but it's not like we're teaching anything. That's more on the Fridays. So I'll get to that in a minute. So what I'm going to do is give you kind of an overview right now of this first orientation, and it's going to be 30 minutes. And then there's a 15-minute Q&A session. I am prepared for it to be shorter or longer based on who's attended, what questions come up, etc. The plan for me, so a little bit of housekeeping, how I think would be the best way to work is, and this is what I do when I teach no matter what, is as I'm talking, write down your notes. I will not stop and answer questions, but so you don't forget them. I don't want you to put them in the screen to chat because you will learn. I cannot chew gum and do technology all at the same time. So chatting questions, I'm probably going to miss. I also need time to think sometimes. So I like all the questions will be at the end. So just know I'm not ignoring you if you chat something or write something in the chat and I don't answer. Okay, so let's talk about what the CDP program is, and its career development program. So the best way that Joseph and I kind of came up with how to define it is this, and I'm going to read it to you because I don't want to get it wrong. There's some things I'm going to read. So what is it? Well, it is the outline of what Keller Williams provides to you for you to succeed in your business at all stages of production. So this is not for new agents. It's not for new to KW agents. It's really for anyone. Seasoned agents will know and be familiar with a phrase like E to P, which is going from entrepreneur E to P. And so what that basically means is that you've hit a glass ceiling and you need some help to get out and through that glass ceiling. So that could be an agent who's been in the business for 3 years and they are maybe trying to expand their team and have leverage and they're running into some hiccups. So just as people ask questions and talk in the office, be very clear, or in other Zooms, whatever, that this is for all agents. Okay. But because we know that at different stages of your business, you're going to have different focuses. And so our goal, the leadership of our office, is to help you build your business on the 4 models. Those 4 models are economic, lead generation, budget, and organizational. Now, pause. If what I just said, you're like, what are you talking about? Then what I would say, this is a time to take notes. You need to go find, download, buy the MREA book and read the first half by this Friday. Okay. And if you have, it's written by Gary Keller and Jay Papasan, PAP. So if you need to look them up, if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's just MREA. Read the first half of it by Friday and you'll kind of understand what Joseph and Vince Joseph and Vince are going to focus on Friday. But those 4 models are what we build our business on: economic, lead generation, budget, organizational. Read the first half of MREA by Friday. Okay. Then block out your Fridays at 1 p.m. for 1 hour. First half hour is going to be teaching these foundations. That's Joseph and Vince. So just being in the same room with those guys, Zoom room, that within itself is worth its weight in gold. So you should go just because, but they will be focusing on MREA that first half, right? Then the second half of that hour is our accountability. That's when I'm going to be engaged, because there will be basically 2 pods of agents that are going to probably break up at that point. And I'll go over that in a minute. Okay. One thing I want to note, Joseph wants me to note, is that this Friday specifically is going to be really great, because they are going to be focusing and starting with the lead generation model. So this is a recorded, I'm thinking. So anyone who watches this should just come, because it's just going to be great for just to like listen to Joseph and Vince. But typically, you know, every first half hour is teaching on those models. This Friday is going to be lead generation. Okay. Okay. Here's another little thing I want you to take notes. So the best way we knew how to identify how to help you know which trajectory you should jump on is to be able to identify who you are. So we have said, we've come up with some titles. So if you are 3 transactions or fewer a year, you fall under the launch agent category. If you are 4 transactions or more a year, then you fall into the growth agent category. Write down which one you are right now, and just understand that's where you are right now, because then on Friday we're going to identify, say, okay, growth agents go this way and launch agents are going to go this way. Don't don't drop out of the program, launch agents, when you find out you'll be with me. But no, the launch agents are going to be Lynn. I'm going to be kind of overseeing that pod. And then the 4 or more transaction agents are going to be Joseph and Vince. So at 1:30 on Friday, we're basically going to have dual Zooms, I'm thinking. And, you know, Kristen will probably give us the links to that, where you'll be with the right agent as applies to your business. And then all the ones around you are going to be in a similar stage. Okay. So now we've covered launch or growth, which one you are, why you should come on Friday, what book you should read halfway through. If you have never read MREA, I would just get refreshed anyway. So read half of the MREA book by Friday, block off an hour. And you will have this whole week to probably get a better grasp of kind of like what you're missing, what you're not missing. Okay. And I'm about to share my screen and really give you some visuals of what we've put together. Because if you're like me, sometimes I can see things better than like just process it in my head. So let me make sure I didn't miss anything on kind of this like notes that Joseph and I wanted to like read to you specifically. All right. So I want to make sure before I forget, my email is Lynne, LYNNE at SALT, SALT, marshproperties.com. Whatever I'm about to share with y'all on the screen, if you would like me to email you a copy of it, then please send me an email that simply says, send me the flow chart. I also have another document I'm going to share with y'all. We're going to go over, and it's called the needs prescriptions flow chart, I think. If you want that emailed to you so you can print it out and take notes after the class when you're on your own, you're going to have to ask me to send it to you, since I don't know all y'all's emails. And that email will help prompt me to just attach it. Okay. So let's talk about Monday expectations. I think it's important for to set some housekeeping. So because it's going to be an orientation, I can't do an RSVP. I can't do attendance. I won't do roll call, any of that stuff, because it's going to be a moving target. People are going to show up and whatever. However, I do feel that it's important that you should know I will want the cameras to be on so I can see everyone's faces. And not because if you have your name up or whatever, that right now that's a bother to me. It's not. But I hope it's okay that part of my time with you is I need to be sure you're paying attention, you're visually connecting with me, and that you're learning how to focus and not be distracted and multitasking while we're focusing on teaching and working things through with you. So I'd like that. I want you to participate because like I said, at the end of every session, it's going to be a Q&A because it's very important to me to be able to say, blah, 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 whatever it is. And then say, okay, well, who did I not cover here? Who's sitting here that I didn't mention something that they are struggling with or they're missing in their business or whatever. And then we can identify together if I'm like, okay, that's going to be a side conversation or great question. Let me answer it here. So that's why I want you to participate. I want to make sure you're listening because I'm fairly impatient. No, I'm just kidding. But if someone's not paying attention and I cover something and they ask me something 5 minutes later, like that's why I don't love that. So why don't we that's why I want the camera on and to participate. And then just a way for you to take notes. Just make sure you have a way to take down notes somewhere so that if I'm on a roll and I have to say, hold on, let me finish this, you don't forget what you're going to ask. Okay. That covers pretty much that covers this immediate overview, but now I'm going to jump to the screen. So if you've written down questions or whatever, I'll come back and we'll go over it. This next bit is I just want you to follow along with me. Okay. So here's to hoping that all this works. All right. Can everybody's, now I can't see anyone's faces right now.
We can see it.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I was like, oh my gosh, how do I find out? Okay. I'm going to scroll up. All right. Now, do you see the part that says you? And then, at the top, career development program. Okay. So yep. Joseph and I, put together this fun little chart where I want you to visually see, obviously that's you. When you join our market center is when you're going to start being prompted in some way or another on wherever you're supposed to go. And onboarding begins with the staff and leadership of our office. So you've got this roadmap already that has nothing to do with me quite yet. However, when you begin the onboarding, Kristen is going to probably, I think what Kristen and I decided is we're going to connect. She's going to connect you and me, you being the agent, to me to say, hey, Lynn, this new agent is now part of the onboarding process. I'm going to give her a specific group of a specific text verbiage, like a canned email of sorts, because there will be specific things I'm going to want to know about you and from you. So let's say y'all know I'm a buyer's agent, or you may or may not know I'm a buyer's agent. So if y'all get onboarded on Monday at 8 a.m. and I'm with clients all day, I then can get home and have an email that lets me connect with you and I'm finally able to focus. So that's why we're going to do it in that format. Okay. So onboarding begins, I get notified. Then we begin the career development orientation is hopefully going to be the first Monday after, it will be every Monday. So the first Monday after you've come on board and you have time for it, meaning if you're overwhelmed and can't, then you'll just have to come to the next one. But first week, hopefully you'll come to that Monday. Then, like we just talked about, you would be identifying yourself as a launch or a growth. And if you notice, I just did roadmap 1, roadmap 2, because the launch and the growth, they're going to be separated in pods, again, with Vince on and Joseph on one, Lynn on the other. And then y'all are going to come up together with what you're supposed to be doing. Okay. So this is the flow. This is kind of an overview of what Joseph and I put together of, okay, what does an agent need to excel? And then what training is attached to the need? All right. So again, I'm not going to go super deep in this at this time, because if you want to need this email to you, you can, but I'm going to read over it quickly. So just start over with me on the left. So obviously you have productivity, accountability, then you have systems and you have tools. And so what you're looking at, this page is basically what CDP is in a nutshell. So you on the left, in order to even know what you want to do, you're going to have to figure out your business plan. You're going to have to figure out what you want to put in place to hold you accountable, because you do need that on some level. So Ignite, the MREA launch series. Oh, look at that. I spelled that wrong. Oh, snap. The MREA launch series, that's kind of, I probably will change that to just MREA series. I'll make some edits to this. That's because that's going to cover launch and growth, but it'll be the launch side of it, right? So productivity warriors, that's what we're calling the second half to the MREA series. We wanted it to be a little bit different because we used that phrase years ago, and Joseph and I just thought it's just good. It's just an aggressive, powerful thing. And it's a fun, you may do power hours, whatever. CDP director That is me for now. Then you go to the middle of systems, you got lead generation. So it's all these different things that you're going to have to like attend, get familiar with on your own time, put it on your calendar and go to. However, the goal and the beauty of CDP is what we're envisioning is like every Friday, whoever your agent is leading you, me or Joseph and Vince, we'll all walk away being like, okay, this is what you're going to focus on next week. And then when you come back the following Friday, I'm just basically, at least I am, Joseph and Vince are planning their own thing, but I'm basically going to be, okay, what did you do and what did you not do? And it's not going to be tell me why. It's either you did or you didn't. And I'm going to get all that from everyone, just going around the room, so to speak, and get it from everyone. And then I will say, okay, we had a few people fall short. Let's talk about some challenges. So it's going to be succinct. I'm going to control it pretty well because what is it? Reasons or results, right? So you're either going to do it or you're going to come with reasons you're not going to do it. And I'm going to hold you pretty accountable to that. But in a loving, gentle way sometimes. Okay, so then you're either going to be a buyer's agent, a seller's agent, maybe both. You need to know your financials. You're going to have things like, do I even know how to get into command? If I have to write a contract, do I even know how to do that? The MC training, KW training, you see some of that. I have a key down at the bottom. MC is market center, KW is regional or national. And let me explain, regional or national can be like CES, our Carolinas Education Services, or the national ones that now everybody's doing Zoom. So you have everything at your fingertips to be everything you need to be, which is why Fridays are going to be really good for you if you commit to it. Because you can do so much now in a way without having to leave your house, right? So the EPS, Elite Productivity Solutions Coaching Program, that is a program that Chip Walton and Monique, these are names that probably may not mean anything to you, but they have their own kind of elite coaching thing. So we're also going to figure out how you can fit into that as well. Monique and I are in dialogue about how she's going to help keep track of, who, what, when, and where as it relates to y'all. And then career development program is obviously this and me. So this document is going to be very, very important for you to be able to know where you are in all of this, where your roadmap is. So let's say the first week you're like, okay, and if you can, hopefully you can see my mouse, but like I'm circling around Ignite. You might say, gosh, for the next 4 weeks, the only job I have to do is Ignite, because that's going to have for me everything I need to do for my 0 to 3 transactions. And then obviously Ignite's also important to 4+. So we're going to walk you through these more particularly on Fridays. Okay. Now let's go to the next. I'll take us to the next screen share. Give me 2 seconds. Need and symptom. I said that wrong. I need to rename this one as well. It's more like need prescription. All right, let me share my screen. Hold on. So this is a little bit more of a, not a flow chart. It's just like text. And y'all can see this too. I'm assuming it's Vince or whatever. Y'all see that? Okay, cool.
You got it.
All right. So on the left, what is needed? You need to go down that list when I email this to you and say, okay, do I have my database in one place? Something as basic as that. Then I'm going to scroll down. Do I have a separate bank account for my real estate business, right? Have I mastered the MLS? Have I mastered the showing time? Let's see. Lead tracking. Do I even know where the majority of my business is coming from? There's a lot over here that we wrote down. Joseph and I just said, what does an agent need that first year to actually do it? Then on the right-hand side is we tried our best to say, okay, this is where you're going to need to go in order to focus on that one thing. And I think that with Joseph and Vince's help, or with Lynn's help, we're going to say, okay, the need is, system for contract to close. The prescription is you need to go to Ignite and you need to look to our training calendar. For instance, I teach the buyer consultation, right? We have listing presentation classes as well, which we're going we need to make one that's similar to mine, and I'm going to do that. It's just not yet, but there are ways to go and attend training calendars within, or training events within our market center, that's going to let you learn how to be a buyer's agent. And then I give you your contract to close if you do the proper steps of homework. So everything you need is being offered. And I think that it's a mix between being an adult and knowing and committing to it and committing to your business, but also feeling overwhelmed at times and sometimes needing someone from a 30,000 level to oversee what you're doing, look over your shoulder and say, you're on the right path, or you're trying to do too much at one time. Let's step back one. So that's what we hope to do. We're not going to tell you what to do. We're not going to be your parents. We're simply going to see what you've done to commit to your business and then keep helping you as much as you want to go. But if you don't seem very committed, we'll also address that as well. So I just want to be clear on that, because not like, and then you're in trouble. It's more like, what's going on here? Why aren't you committed? And then if it's like, I've just had this whole life event happen and I just can't even focus, then we don't lose touch with you and you don't fall in the cracks. We basically say, okay, then we're going to like pause, and maybe in a month, we're going to circle back around with you and see if you're ready to come back and get engaged. That's super, super important right now. So understand, come, but if life hits you hard, we will definitely have grace and be excited for you to come back when it's ready. And now we have like a plug and play scenario for you to know where to plug back in. Okay, so hopefully everybody kind of sees that and sees what we've put together for you in order to just not be like, this sounds great. It's too abstract though. I can't visualize it. So we did a flow chart and then we did a table. All right, so we are right at 30 minutes and I'm going to pipe down, and I want people to ask questions and talk to me. I think the best thing to do is keep your phone, keep your, whatever it's called, thing muted, and maybe raise your hand. Could you know how to do that? Actually, just do this. So I know everybody's laughing at me. I told y'all I'm a special girl, Joseph's lucky. So just like raise your hand so I know someone has something to say, and then I will say your name. I want you to unmute, and then I want you to ask. And so if your face, I can't see you, then I won't be able to call on you, but you and I could talk another time if just right now isn't a great time. All right, everybody raise hands. Nancy, go ahead.
Hi, I'm in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. I will be there shortly. I am an experienced agent, although I certainly could use help with, being a little bit better about building up leads and stuff like that. So I'm kind of in between. I've been doing this for 20 years, but I'm going to be brand new in Charleston. So would you be willing to work with me a little bit? I'm still trying to figure out the MLS. Your system is completely different from mine. I need to start meeting people and developing leads. So do you think maybe you can give me additional help with other things? Because certain things I won't need, but certain things I definitely do need.
What I think the best answer to that's a great question, because there could be people who aren't even coming from another region, but might be coming from a whole different real estate company. You need to be in the launch only because you still have the basics of like MLS training or Central Lock. Because even if you're coming from North Carolina, they have a super something, not even a Central Lock. So I think for now, you need to start with launch. So make sure you identify as launch. Then in my 30 minutes with you, what I'll probably, when I have everybody say, I'm, coming and I want this flow chart, when y'all email me, I'll probably just kind of see if I can get a baseline for you. But in the chance that I can't do that every time, I think the smartest thing would be is for you to look over the flow chart, look over that list, and start identifying, like create your own table. Like you said, you're from New Jersey?
Bucks County, Pennsylvania, but I have my Jersey license. I have Jersey license as well.
So I would really do like PA on one side and SC on the other, and identify like, how to interact with buyers, but you don't know the South Carolina contract, that kind of thing. You're going to need to give your time, your energy and time to actually identifying really in a finite way. But the good news is I will have a checklist. I will take from this, the CDP flow chart. I'll have a checklist of sorts so that I can help you unpack better on Friday. But you're definitely in the launch thing because you're still in the basics of South Carolina.
I also could use discipline because I'm so used to right now getting leads and getting my business that I definitely want to be like a new agent learning how to start from ground one. So
Then you're perfect. You're going to be launch agent. And I will probably be so excited to see how you do with Ignite. You coming to my buyer class. So you're going to be like, what I love about our office is it's just a piecemeal and you just go put the puzzle together. And there's also command training. There's technology and stuff that's another person in our office. And I'll just point you in that right direction. Okay. All right. Anyone else? Raise your hand if you have a question. Celeste?
Hi.
Hi.
This is really cool. Thank you for all of you guys for putting this together. Wanted to just kind of confirm, we're doing every Monday at 2 and then every Friday at 1, or just starting with some Mondays and then always, I'm just trying to plan
Every
accordingly.
Monday.
I definitely want to be here.
Yep, every Monday. And for instance, you
Okay.
might say, this was so perfect, I don't need to come to the next Monday orientation. Or you might say, I'm going to come to 2, and then after that, I'm probably good. But you're
Okay.
going to commit to every Friday, because that's where we are going to have a cycle of what did you do since we last saw you? Why didn't you do it? What did you excel at doing? And how do we grow you? Because some people might stay on the same track for 4 Fridays, let's say. And at that time, they've mastered their thing. And then we say, great, you're going to graduate. So maybe on the 5th Friday, you're going to move into a new direction on your path.
Okay, cool. So perfect. Fridays it is.
Yes, ma'am. Okay,
Awesome.
thank you.
Thank you.
Ed S. Unmute yourself. I can't hear you. There you go.
There we go. I was trying to find the mute button on it. I was in the wrong spot.
Listen, you're preaching to the choir here.
Yes. Now I think I just lost my question. Oh, is it going to be the same Zoom connection for Fridays, or is it going to be a different link?
Kristen.
It'll be a different link. I'm going to send you, he's brand new, like as of today, guys. So he hasn't gotten the
Say hello to Ed.
Yeah, I
Hey,
came in this morning.
So I will send you instructions on how to download our calendar. That way you have it and you'll have every Zoom link. So you should-
I think I have that calendar. I got to get into doing that. I was too busy with the paperwork, and I'm going to work on that first thing in the morning, which is about 4:30, 5 o'clock.
I'm impressed you're here. Good for you, man. Yeah, back to really quickly. I cannot stress enough. Our training calendar is amazing. So you absolutely that's one of your first onboarding things. Like that might be more important than your central lock because that's where you need to go to start figuring out just how to start absorbing all the different what are the words? Acronyms and everything. So don't underestimate to go explore that training calendar. Okay. Thank you, Ed. Welcome aboard. All right. Anyone else? Wow. I'm so good. There are only 3 or 4 questions. Look at this. What have Joseph and Vince been doing this whole time? Just kidding.
I have a question.
Oh no. Yes, sir.
So, and I think maybe people have this as well, but I love the flow charts and the way that everything is broken up so that we can always get the resources that we need when we need them. If we have some of those problems, I think it was on your flow chart piece where I have a need, I don't know how to leverage the MLS so that I can get, I don't know, listing data or whatever it is. Where do I go for that? Would I shoot you an email? Do I go to a class? What's the kind of the cadence of getting those issues resolved?
So I think right here in the beginning, I had everybody, and hopefully everyone who's sitting here, if you got in after I said this, write my email down, lynn@saltmarshproperties.com, LYNNE. I'm going to email these to you for this week. Then for today, I'm going to get these to you. I'm not going to hold it up. And then I'm going to get with Joseph and make sure he doesn't have a good idea of how we can upload that somewhere where and that might also be something that Kristen and I decide is we maybe put a hard copy in something that she gives you when you're, new to getting in through your onboarding. But no matter what, it will be something that becomes the standard. Here's what's going to be interesting about it though, Vince. This flow chart, I foresee this being an editing document that gets edited, because one thing I want to also say, if right before, like, if we wrap up these questions, I also want to spend some time saying, what are some things that maybe we didn't cover that you feel you might have a challenge with? And if you don't come up with it today, we can talk about it on Friday. However, this document is also for me to say, I might not have thought of something, or Joseph and I might not have thought of something. And so when I share it with people, you group of people are going to get it if you email me. I'm also going to email it, of course, to the staff. And that way you guys can look at it over the next couple of days and see if you see something missing. Then hopefully by Friday, it'll be as close to finished for this week. And then a new agent could come in like Nancy and say, hey, I'm going to need a line item for this that you didn't think of because you've never come from Pennsylvania. So I hope that answers the question. It's going to be a moving target on some levels, but it's always going to be somewhere accessible. And then like every week we might update it or put it on a Google Doc that's shared with the office. So it's a live document every time I edit it, that kind of thing.
Love it.
I'll come up with what works best and get y'all's input on it. All right, Lauren.
Is Friday just on Zoom or is it at the office?
That's a good question. I mean,
Now that's just on Zoom.
Okay.
I love
Right.
being in the office. I can't wait to
Yeah.
get back to the office. So Joseph said to me, he said, I asked him about this, and I'll have to just get the final permission from the staff, but I might come to the office because I'm there and teach it on Zoom. But Joseph made a good point where he said it might be really hard to try to do Zoom and something in the office. And I don't know what regulations are in place, but just know that I prefer in person. And as soon as I can do that, I will.
Sounds good to me.
Yes, sir, Ed.
I haven't been knighted, so it doesn't apply. Now I guess I'm supposed to meet with you soon. Can we do that in office or someplace else?
Is that to me?
Yes. I was told that I was gonna be meeting with you about developing my,
That's true. We'll talk offline, Ed. That has to do with going to
Oh.
your Friday Zoom and all that stuff.
So yeah, I mean, the thing is I'm happy to meet with you, but I'm not sure what you're talking about, but just know that I'm always available. I say that when I'm teaching my buyer packet. If you'd like a one-on-one with me, we'll make that happen. So just ask me to do that. But the beauty of what we're putting together is you're going to get a one-on-one with me both Mondays and Fridays on some level, so that you can literally say, I'm a book in my week with some major like start and finish, and then work really hard in between. So you don't have to interrupt your week meeting with me on a Wednesday. You'll have me Monday and Friday. All right, any other questions? Okay, that's good. Now, I want to go through, I do want to do one more thing. This is what I do want to do before we hang up or before we wrap up. I'm going to go back to, hold on, sorry, y'all. All right, can y'all see the flow chart? Or do you just see my
No.
finder?
No, just your file.
All right, so I did this last time. Hold on 2
Just
seconds.
open that up. Yeah.
I have to start a different thing. There we go. Hold on 2 seconds.
There we go.
All right, I'm a fast reader, so I'm going to read, and I'm going to read and scroll with you, but I want you to read on the left. Just follow with me on the left, okay? Because I want to take just a few minutes to see and I want you to write it down as I'm reading if something doesn't get covered, so y'all can just help me brainstorm if needed, okay? So some of the main things you're going to need are to be an agent, you need to have your database in one place. And if that's only an Excel spreadsheet right now, then you need to enter it into Command. It's all the same thing, right? All right, your lead generation plan. You need to know how to do all of the following underneath that, lead generation plan. So read that at some point, but it's basically, lots of ideas on how to, like what Nancy was asking, lots of ideas on how to get out in the community the best way you can right now and really grow your database to then start converting leads. Okay. Then you need to know how to follow up with them, where they're going to be where they're going to be in command, what systems they're in as a follow-up, also anything like notes or drop bys or things like that. You need to know how to have a separate bank account. So your real estate business is separated from your personal and you treat it like it is. It's a business. You need to have a very thorough buyer packet, a very thorough listing packet, and also know how to, if someone called you and said, I'm ready to buy, can you meet with me today at 5? You would be ready to go to meet with them or to Zoom with them or to make a phone call to have a consultation. If you don't have that, that's very important. System for your contract to close. What that means is, do you have a system that is scalable so that the minute someone goes under contract, you know, like what emails you're going to send to everyone, how you're going to get all the proper documents to all of the parties in the transaction from start to finish. It's very important you have an organized system. We have those to share with you if you're serious about being a really, focused agent. How to leverage the benchmarks for when it's time to maybe go through some leverage. Like if you're ready to hire, et cetera, et cetera. We want to be able to help you identify when you've hit those benchmarks. Business planning clinic, that helps you. That's an amazing class. It helps you know, like if you want to sell, 100 million a year, then you'll back out of that number with the help of the business planning clinic, where it like computes to, okay, in order to sell 100 million a year, you're going to have 4 appointments a week, that kind of thing. CMAs, that's how you look at the market and decide how to advise people when they're writing contracts or putting their house on the market. 411s and 135s, those are just ways to track what you're doing every week. We'll unpack that together with you on our Fridays, most likely, on the right Fridays. Or sorry, that's not true. We'll tell you on your Fridays what you need to do. You'll go find the training for it. CES training, that's Carolina Educational Services. That's you remember the key was the KW training or regional training. So those are other instructors outside of our market center who will help you do other topics. Goals for further leadership inside KW. Do you want to be a MAPS coach or any kind of coach? Do you want to be a team leader? Do you want to be an OP? That kind of stuff. There are classes to help you figure out your passions. Ignite sessions as a whole. Ignite is an amazing program for you to learn basically everything. I think it's important. I added this, that I think that after you've gone through Ignite, I mean, it's like, I can't remember how many weeks it is now, but then there's a whole level of, well, gosh, this was great. Now, where the hay fever do I begin to just focus on one? So I think it's important that we have also a way to drill down after the big one concludes. MLS mastery, knowing how to just, like when I consult with people and I'm on the phone talking to them and they're like, we want to be over here for this amount, blah, blah, blah. I then just start clicking on the MLS and creating their search and saving and adding a subscription. All that's important to know. Knowing how to set up showings, knowing how to work your central lock, which is now through your phone. Then you want to know and have command and tech mastery. The words on appropriate schedule of the agent, meaning your level of mastery is going to be according to you, but you need to have it as you go. Lead tracking, where does the majority of your business come from? Lead conversion, I have 16 meetings a week and I only have 2 clients. Something's up with my conversion. We got to figure that out. Then your smart plans that are inside Command, like 8x8, 36 to convert, etc. So that's like where we are. That is the majority of everything we've got. And you can tell over here, we've lined out what it is will get you there. So like I said, I'm going to email that document to you, but at this exact moment, did you see something I was missing? Raise your hand if you did. Okay, so when you get this from me, the good news is you'll have time to sit with it. And then maybe as you go through this week, be like, oh gosh, this is not on that thing. I need to go make a note of it and tell Lynn about it. And that's how we'll all get better together. All right, so man, I nailed it on the time. And that's pretty impressive because I like to talk. Okay, so this was the orientation. All of y'all have come. You now send me an email for these flow charts. You're also, if you need to, read the MREA before Friday, the first half of MREA, and then block off 1 to 2 on Friday. Identify if you're launch or growth, and we're going to know what you are too. I'm just saying, be thinking of that. And that's it. You are the inaugural attendees to the CDP orientation. So I hope it was good. All right. So if everybody's good, thumbs up, and then I'll hang up the thing. Oh, look at the cute little
Thank
baby.
you. Thank
All right.
you.
Thank you. You're welcome. Y'all have a good week.